The other thing that's worth noting is that early gas cars also sucked. The electric starter was not invented until 1912, which meant that every car before that you had to crank with your arm.
Yes.
Which sucked, first of all. Like, it's extremely hard because you have to overcome the actual compression force of the motor.
Yeah, you might break your arm very easily.
Yeah, if it backfires, it just snaps your arm in half. A thing that famously would never hurt you or kill you, especially before modern medicine. So like cars were kind of, they were also contraptions. Not like maybe quite the same. Put them into a wall and they charge. The first electric car had 50 miles of range. I think the one that I was driving, it was on updated batteries, but in theory you could get probably 70 or 80 miles of range of that carriage on screen right now.
Wow.
You would be doing maybe 15 or 20 miles an hour because, let's go to the next slide. This is your motor. That is the actual motor inside the Columbia that I drove.
Oh, hell yeah.
3 horsepower. It's a
Bike check.
yeah. It's
You put this on an e-bike, you're flying.
oh well. So here's the thing. So driving this was incredibly fun because it was steered with a tiller. It didn't have a steering wheel yet.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a carriage. It's literally just a horseless carriage. No windshield. It's got a fold up like leather rooflet thingy. Everything is made out of this gorgeous wood. There's only one gauge. It is just a giant just like a giant steel blob that shows you remaining voltage and like current temperature or something. I forget exactly what it was. But it's like, it is just a carriage that's strapped an electric motor to. You do 15 miles an hour in this thing and you are flying. I cannot emphasize how scary this thing was to do 15 miles an hour in because it's also worth like $100,000. And the owner is sitting next to me as I like crank the tiller driving down the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles. It was terrifying. So EVs initially were ahead of the game on like top speed runs. They were ahead of the game on like distance runs, like I don't know if you've heard of the Cannonball Run, but that's the New York City to Los Angeles.
Howdy, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and stream live, at least for the rest of the afternoon. We're finishing this drawing. It is a Bush League Habs survey of a brick home in Kansas. I don't have a brick count yet, but it's 31 by, what is it, 17 and something, and then 2 stories, and then it's got a back gable. So I'm guessing probably around 40,000 brick. I don't know. I'm bad at estimating that. I'm going to switch over to the live stream here. Monitor. So I have frame and monitor on each side. There we go. Live control room. There we go. I defined it again. We are on. We have the board in view. Not a bad delay. I have the chat right here. Okay. Now let's see if we can get
Now we're ready to
podcast,
podcast.
and you will like it.
You motherfucker, hang on.
it's a family show.
You take the largest possible bites of food and then we just go.
I was in the middle of eating a leftover corned beef sandwich. It was delicious.
A leftover corned beef. Can you make better choices, please? For me?
Go fuck yourself, Nova.
I need both of you to stay so that I can continue to pay rent.
no, fuck yourself, Nova. I'm gonna eat this sandwich. Yeah.
I hadn't gotten takeout in several weeks, so I decided like 2 days ago to get pizza. And I'm just giving lots of leftover pizza. And yeah, it is from Fiesta.
Oh, you're a moron.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Open
have-
some tacos.
Oh. Oh.
So this company, this Columbia Motor Company, which nobody has ever heard of except for me because I drove one, was the first car manufacturer to ever sell 1,000 cars.
Wow.
It just barely beat out Oldsmobile, which you may know from previous Victoria Scott episodes of Well, There's Your Problem.
So,
Back then it was called Newsmobile.
Why did I laugh at that?
we sort of operate in a Stockholm
Donde
syndrome.
estás?
Sure deal, Nova.
Yeah, so, this was like a huge
Sorry,
deal.
give us your wallet while we're here.
I will. You need the 3 numbers on the back too. I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. But so the net effect of this is electric cars are quiet, they're fast, they're reliable because there's not much to break on them. They're high status. Teddy Roosevelt's first motorcade had a Columbia in it. It was the first motorcade ever to happen in America, and he was sitting in a Columbia for it. Queen Victoria purchased a Phaeton carriage for, like, I don't know, what is in the notes? Daughter-in-law Alexandra of Denmark, whoever the hell that is. Because they were like,
Denmark.
if you remember the original slide, that advertisement for Baker Electric Automobiles, it was for the society woman, because these cars could be operated by women. Because
It
they weren't-
doesn't sort of like belch smog directly
Yeah.
into your face.
Yeah, it's like proper. Like
Yeah,
you
it
can
doesn't-
you
it
can
doesn't, like,
literally.
shear your entire leg off.
It is a vehicle for usage with petticoats.
No engine knocking yet, because they haven't the gasoline cars are all exploding themselves because we haven't invented tetraethyl lead yet.
The world waits with bated breath for Thomas Midgley Jr.
So yeah, to your point,
doing like, instead of Anthropocene, there's a Midgley scene in the middle.
For all its faults, it
Oh,
did
no.
increase
Oh my
compression
God.
ratios.
you do not have to hand it to neutral lead.
The
We've
Midgley
seen
scene,
the building that makes you
era
stupid.
had some great cars.
Yeah, so to your point, like, Clara Ford cocked Henry and drove a Detroit Electric for, like, the first several years of the Model T's existence because she thought his cars were too loud and shitty.
It's like
Ha!
Grimes driving a Rivian, you know?
Yes. That,
Actually, no, it's not. It's like Grimes driving a fucking, like, like a petrol engine car.
yeah, Audi, BMW,
Geo Metro.
Mitsubishi Mirage,
It's
like,
the funniest car to imagine Grimes in a Geo Metro.
no, I think the Mirage is where it's at. I had one of those. They suck terrible. They don't even have the charm of a Geo Metro.
No,
They
they're
just
they're-
say
they're
I'm
real
poor.
shit.
Elon Musk crying because Grimes is driving away from him with the kids in her Renault Espace.
I love
Okay, but I
that.
actually want one of those.
Yeah, they actually look pretty good.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, we can't get
They
them here
did,
still.
they did a racing Espace back in the day.
I have bought many. I'm gonna make some sort of masturbation joke. Anyway, they're very cool. They put like a mid-engined F1 motor.
Ah.
I had it on top here when I was like,
Ah!
Oh, yeah.
part of my childhood. Anyway, so the summary of this is these are rich people cars. They're status symbols. They don't require any labor. They're silent. You can act better than everybody else. Next slide, please.
How much has changed?
Well,
Love this thing.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, let's
this
get
one
it.
was just
Oh,
one that
this
I
is the-
found out when I was doing research for this. It was built. This is the first car to break 60 miles an hour.
Look at on that lack of suspension.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's break it down for this
La Jamais Content is apparently French.
size
and
as
never
well.
Satisfied.
Starting at the top of the stack, 44.
It's made of fucking bricks in raw time.
Yeah, no, it's a big streamline. It had a 200-volt drivetrain for 67 horsepower.
Wow.
This thing was
So
absolutely
It's a Mitsubishi Mirage then.
Yeah, basically. Mitsubishi
28.
is phallic. It's
This
basically the side dock.
is so dangerous.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so
got a tiller. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks like you operate it entirely by hand. This is like a streetcar operating thing. Like a motorman's like stand.
Things like his like one arse cheek is on the like sill of the cockpit.
Yeah.
I guess.
26.
this is piloted by Camille Janazzi, who is a
Aw,
Belgian
5'9".
man,
It's
led
a little
the
guy.
Rouge, because he was
9 and a third. Don't forget the third. That's his hat.
yeah. I mean, the funniest thing I found during this is completely unrelated to electric vehicles, but he died in 1913 when he hid behind a
23.
bush on a hunting
5'1"
party.
and a third.
Animal
That's a
one of
very
his
little
friends
guy.
Shot him thinking he was actually an animal.
Sometimes your animal noise impression
like
can be
Charlemagne.
good.
They then rushed him to the hospital in a Mercedes, and he bled out and died, fulfilling his prophecy that he
Ha!
would die behind the wheel of a Mercedes.
Eat
Benz.
shit.
Anything else? I just thought it was funny as hell.
That's charming.
Yeah. Other famous things.
1 foot,
the
1 and a
ambulance to the
third.
hospital when he was shot was also electric. I know this because my roommate won't stop singing Sondheim's Assassins.
Show gosh, angry man. Fuck, it's the best musical. Is the thing.
She's gonna really love this episode because she tells me the same thing 3 times a week.
It's the best one. They should have stopped making musicals after Assassins. 'Cause it's the best one.
I've listened to like 3 musicals. My parents wouldn't let me listen to musicals as a child because they were afraid it would make me gay.
And apparently, you know,
I did listen to like 1 musical and then I did become gay. So they may have been correct.
I listen to a lot of musicals and I'm straight. I mean, that's what underexposure does to you.
Man does love a
yeah,
musical.
I mean, maybe you became like habituated, or maybe it's like a sort of like odd even thing with a switch. You've seen like a perfectly even number of musicals.
Exactly.
I think it may have been the part where I was an altar boy.
Oh,
I managed to skip that particular form of
And you're straight,
indoctrination.
see?
Yeah.
There you go. Proof. You heard it here first, folks. Being an altar boy makes you gay.
They really did some science to Big Bill McKinley though. Like they went to hospital in an electric ambulance, tried to get the bullet out with an X-ray and a fucking metal detector and shit. None of it worked, and then he died and became
Those
the
are queens.
U.S. president.
Or some weird
Yeah,
shit.
Successfully assassinated by
Okay.
Yeah, to impress
So
him.
that's-
Number one. Number one.
My favorite
That's
thing
the
about that
scale
story
we
is,
want.
Leon, I don't pronounce his last name.
Oh gosh.
Thank you. Was apparently suspected of being a Fed the entire time. He hung out with anarchists until he shot the president because he was just like, "Hey guys, you want to go do some anarchy?"
Shout out
We're
Anarchy.
gonna do some federal crime, and Emma Goldman is like, "Ew, gross. Why are you following me from city to city?"
Okay, so we're gonna translate these
What did
Now-
McKinley know? What was he going to do? Was he gonna normalize relations
to
with Cubans?
real lines on the porch
Some real like deep
and
state
the
shit.
roof
like,
line
yeah.
right here.
Anyway, that was all for this slide. Next slide, please. So we have to discuss
Loads
what
of these
killed.
women.
I know. This is from the GE historical archives of their electric chargers they built back in like the teens and 20s. And you know my whole shtick is dressing like it's roughly 1895. So I was like, this is cool. This is me.
Good period
When I
for
aspire to.
dress.
It was great.
Yeah.
Like I dressed like that half the time in Seattle, and like no one
There's
has ever
our
from the city. I love it
sill.
to death, but like nobody knows how to dress here. But I do get a lot of compliments, so
I love these chargers. Man. I mean, I can't even identify half the shit on them, but I love it.
they're doohickeys. So unfortunately, the chargers are kind of what killed them. So remember how earlier you said we didn't have the gasoline infrastructure and it was an inversion of the modern day thing where we don't have chargers? Well, so they never they built a bunch of gas stations because
Okay.
they found oil in Texas. I don't know if
Standard
you said this.
Oh, let's get the sill. Let's get the
Yeah.
sill on there.
Yeah.
The lower
Okay.
sill.
They found
Gasoline is
oil.
relatively easy to refine, and electrical infrastructure is a disaster show for like a long time.
Yeah, you're still like decades out from having like a stable national infrastructure in like 1915 or whatever.
In
Okay.
1915, you have multiple
starting at
competing
the
electrical
sill.
companies who have all built their own wires
Right
on their
here.
own poles with different they'll run on one will be DC,
We
one will
have
be AC
44
at
brick.
45 hertz, One will be AC at 60 hertz. One will be three-phase,
To the
and then
ceiling.
it's like transformed down. They're all
44,
there's like a rat's
9
nest
foot
of
9
wires
and a
on
third.
every street. You have to buy different appliances and different electrical bulbs and systems based on what electrical company you're hooked up to. And these things are appearing and disappearing like every year. So one day your electrical company goes bust. If you want to get a hookup with a new one, guess what? You're going to have to buy all of your fucking appliances brand new again.
9 and a
I have to
third.
get my like Westinghouse gaming
Oh.
computer.
Yes.
Okay, that is a
Yeah, so and this is
Control
added
line.
to the fact that there's absolutely no saturation outside of the cities. So what happened was, if you lived in a big coastal city and you had a house that you owned and you had all these hookups, you could charge your car at home. Or in certain areas, like GE put these things called electrants. They were electricity hydrants.
I like that. We should go back to that name. Yeah.
They would mount them on the street. You could pull your EV up and park next to it, and you could charge it, like in the modern day. The problem is that, you know, as soon as you leave the city, you're basically you can't recharge this thing. And you know, nobody's got power to fill it back up, and so you've got a 900-pound horseless carriage that you have to push 40 miles to New York City or whatever. So that sucks.
It really doesn't
Number one.
say.
The other thing is, if you don't have a hookup, the way that they were solving this for people was, here, put a gasoline engine in your garage. Generator technology in 1902 was not fantastic. I don't know if you know
For a
this.
second, I thought you were going to say put it in the car, and I was like, how early was a hybrid invented?
It was earlier than I think it is, but I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I'm ashamed of myself.
I just brought you
I
on
have
to
to
like
go-
shame you. Yeah.
Well, you should do that. That's my thing.
You had hit and miss engines as early as like the 1880s, I want to say.
The Loner Porsche Mix, yeah, first hybrid. That was like years of Department of Energy. It was 18.
I wasn't expecting to sell in 18 is the main thing.
Yeah, you got the big, really big old-fashioned gasoline engines that took up like a room, had a massive flywheel, generated like 2 horsepower and an infinite amount of torque.
Yeah, the Department of Energy says 1899. Porsche themselves says 1900, and Ferdinand Porsche did actually design the first hybrid car.
Still on hell though.
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah, so, you know, this stuff is all way earlier than we think it is kind of the crucial takeaway. So and all of the problems are the exact same. In 1900, they debuted the Electron at the Madison Square Garden auto show. This is like a huge deal. It's new and exciting. It could only charge about half the EVs at the show because the connectors were all different.
It's nice to know that it's still the same fucking problems.
Yeah,
Like,
we have the CHAdeMO, we have the CCS charger, which are different between Europe and America, for the record.
Cool.
That we have NACS, we have what is the other one I'm thinking of? One more.
Tesla
100
charger.
years.
No, NACS is the Tesla
Oh, I
charger.
see.
100 fucking years, and we still have not surmounted one like infrastructural problem here.
Yeah.
No, you need one standard that's good for everything. Then you just have one more standard. To paraphrase XKCD.
The only answer here, electric vehicles Stalin.
I volunteer for that role. I could do it.
Secretary Buttigieg, if you want to fucking take the energy that you use to like
What's
build
up,
a
Jeff?
secret and channel that into rational
5'9" and a third with my hat on.
fucking time.
These numbers are beautiful. Truly, it's wild that everything breaks down into thirds.
What are they making?
It's like baking.
South Korea?
I love these brick layers.
I mean, fucking the master's thesis.
Okay, so we set off a control line right here.
Because that's
Yeah, you have to be mad at electricity. Maybe you could like bring back an ancient name, the name of Westinghouse.
you could,
That's going to be part of our scale.
Licensed microwave with Westinghouse on it.
Really?
And that is this one
Nope.
right here. We'll call it
No, it's all it's just licensed out. Yeah.
another company that committed.
D. Let's call it D, just like the Greeks.
I get seated on the Westinghouse
So that's
electric
D,
chair in the fucking
just from the
arms.
sill to the ceiling height. We've got it in brick count right here.
Well, we know for one he didn't use the electric
D.
chair.
Let's move on. Next part of our platform,
So that's all
is
the same.
23.
The other thing that happened too, and this is crucial.
5 foot 1 1/3.
Batteries never got cheaper. And gasoline cars did.
Let me go ahead and get a
In
guideline
the
on
nice
here.
That doohickey carriage I drove for the review cost $50,000.
Get some more daylight, maybe?
Model T, when it debuted in
Does that help?
1908, cost about $27,000, and it had a windshield, which had a steering wheel.
wheel.
So
Yeah.
this is like, it's already more advanced.
Okay,
By
we're
1923, the
going
Model T
5
was
foot
an
1
inflation
and a
of-
third on the brick scale. From right here. Let's get rid of this chicken scratch.
Your anti-Semitic pamphlet. Oh.
Doesn't it have like 2 speeds, like you can go slow.
Take another shot. I just had to erase.
I've driven one.
That's how drunk Habs goes.
You like shift with your, the clutch is on your hand or something. It's really weird driving one. It's not at all, it's like, they hadn't figured out, like,
Yeah.
they hadn't really figured out, like, where to put.
Drink every time you pick up the broom.
I don't remember how many speeds it had, because the main emotion I remember is error.
As a driver with terrible
Okay.
clutch control, the hand clutch is kind of
3/8.
selling me, to be honest.
I just want
5
Noah.
foot 1 1/3 inches. There's my 5.
That's true.
Happy to see you.
Pareidolia. Yeah. Did you plug the thing into
Little
the
guys.
mouth? Or
Like, oh, hello, bird. Sorry, my cat's here.
That is to the top of the lintel. Let's strike that off as a hard control line too.
Yeah, but in any case, like, by the 20s, like, it's Model T.
On
you can buy
bond,
for
we don't need the
inflation
whole
adjusted
thing.
$5,400. Yeah, that's not,
The door is higher.
$50,000.
yeah, because they're still like hand building.
Can I
these
reach?
things, like,
They're building, and they're also, you know, like, lead acid battery tech didn't come down as fast as they wanted it to, as fast as they wanted it to.
Oh, that moves it up. Dang it.
But yeah, like Ford's assembly line did a lot of this. So, anyway, hopefully that's.
I have grid paper. Just use the damn grid.
and
I'm right here on the line.
Yeah, so,
Okay,
oh yeah,
Carl.
yeah. So next slide, please.
over here.
This,
Cut it.
I'm
The
Communicar.
door is
I'm
different.
energy. I'm electric. I reduce
Oh god, I gotta get rid of this too. Which
I
means
swear I've seen this thing compete on Robot Wars.
Yeah, so this pathetic thing was the best-selling electric car from 1945 until 2013.
Jesus.
They sold 4,444 of these across 2 different brands because one of the
So
companies
little.
gave up midway through, and half of those were like USPS delivery vans. They like did like a limited experiment, and this was in the 70s when.
okay, and then we have the top. Oh, we have 5 bricks above that.
Nobody could think of what to do, and then you get the old Cecil episode.
1 foot 1 1/3.
GM also tried doing a thing called
The checksum on that, we'll have to get the checksum to find that true length.
They built like
More on that later.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they were like, let's
That's what
build
your
a diesel
scales
that
are
explodes
for.
every 20 miles anyway. Instead.
You just didn't have like good battery technology until like a
Wow.
few years from now.
Yeah, I mean, there was the GM, what was it, the EV1?
Have I got some thoughts on
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Where are we? 1 foot 1 1/3 off of this.
Next slide, please.
Shit.
This
I gotta
is
go
the
this way.
closest we get to like a true godforsaken environmental disaster. So in
Middle of that block is what I'm calling it.
The Gen 1 4 with the.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is the
And
EV,
is that a hard
the
line?
And the GM EV1.
I love the EV1. This
That's
looks
a cornice
like
line. We're cutting it
ketchup.
all the way across.
Everyone likes the EV1. I think that
Focus.
it's a cool looking car. It looks like
Uh,
it was made in 1990.
Yeah.
Focus.
Kind of like
Focus.
like open.
Cut.
Well, it was also like it had like magnesium
All right.
wheels on it and magnesium
I'll allow
seat
it.
frames. It had a coefficient drag of 0.19. Like this thing was so goddamn advanced for the era in terms of like every aspect of design. And
What's left? We need to step down off our ceiling
like
that same distance.
like first gen Miata. But yeah, So all of these cars exist because in 1990, California Air Resources Board decided that that 10% of new cars sold in the state of California had to be EVs by 2003. And auto manufacturers were like, well, okay.
That technology does not exist yet. And
Yeah,
it's
they're doing the like bottom fingers pointing together emoji. Where they're kind of like, maybe
Maybe.
you can try.
Okay, that is going to be the top
Generally
of our
speaking,
sills,
yes.
according to the
problem
map
is that,
here.
like, nobody really wants to invest a ton of money into this because they're instead going to just lobby the California government to give up.
Sorry, top of our
so
lintels,
it's
not
more
our
about,
sills.
like, regulation without
Oh
enforcement
my.
drives innovation, right?
Yeah, so
Cut it all the way across.
Nice
Most
unfunded
companies-
mandate.
No remorse.
Most companies do the easy way out. They take like the 400 PV. If you've ever been to like a mid-tier Midwestern school, you've probably seen one.
Okay, and then above that, 26 to our gable. We'll deal with that later. This handles the facade map.
They made a couple.
Oh, we need the same
Then you
distance
had like the RAV4
to
EV,
the sill.
which was an existing car as a
Down
hybrid.
low
And
here.
They had like the EV Plus and the Nissan Ultra that were Japanese spec cars brought to the U.S. and then converted to electric specifically just to meet these car requirements. The interesting part about all of these is that they all used most of the important ones used nickel metal hydride batteries, which was not as powerful. It's not as powerful as modern lithium ion, but it is.
It's safe, sort of, and it
Oh, those
charges
could be
slow,
higher
it's
on the
slow.
front.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, these are old lines
very
also.
slow.
Fuck me.
You use it for an application like cars.
Well, and they're not
Yeah,
toxic. They're pretty easy to manufacture.
Isn't
They're
it?
heavy, but you know, the RAV4 EV got somewhere around like 104. Was it for 140?
23 corners.
The EV1 initially used lead acid batteries.
D.
That's part of why it got really bad initial reviews. But the second
Yes.
gen, they've used
Yes,
nickel metal
that's
hydride,
it.
and those were well over 100 miles of range in like this
Really?
tiny little coupe.
Introduce you to the
Yes, that's it. Because the roof comes down below to
To
this line, which we haven't mapped yet. Oh my gosh, there we go.
Yeah, so like nobody's
Okay,
really doing
So
it.
let's call
It
this
was a
C
way to make
since it's
it
before
work,
D.
We were moving towards lighter cars, which obviously we didn't do.
Well,
C.
that's better.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they
next-
made
next
us
slide,
be more
please.
safe, bunch of Nazis.
All right. So this is a bunch of crushed
Is going
EV1s
to
because
be
GM destroyed
Oh.
virtually all of them. When the
beautiful, ugly bumpers.
Yeah, they have these 30. I think they rated these as like $35,000 a pop, and they still would have lost money if they actually sold them. But they didn't sell any of them. They leased them to people, took them back.
3/4 of this 28.
He showed this off in like an Instagram thing or something like a couple of years ago, and everyone was like, "What the fuck, man?"
You had to like hide it in a barn or something.
Yeah, you had to evade the GM police, and they are scary.
GM has shooters, yeah. GM is bad as Boeing. Well, worse than Boeing because, like, when they decompress you, they do it on purpose.
porch.
So the story with the EV1 is, GM had bought a really leading nickel metal hydride battery.
There we go.
However, used the EV1. Just lobbied.
Okay, yeah, so this all checks out.
They did a bunch of internal research that was like, we have to give people
Top of our
$7,000
sill,
to
that's our
which every
big
other city
ass
was conducted
windows
with.
on the bottom,
Consumer demand was totally
hidden
there.
by the porch,
There were like actual
ceiling.
requests for this car. But they were like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, the
So
windows
it doesn't
don't go to
really
the
like
ceiling.
if they crush all these cars.
Windows go to right here
Incidentally,
with the
around this time,
lintels.
They sell the company that
Crossing.
owns the patent for nickel metal hydride powered cars in Mexico.
Oh,
They're
that's
bought by
weird.
Chevron.
Our window,
That's a huge coincidence.
At this time,
according to the map,
Toyota's still making
this is
RAV4s,
28,
the RAV4 EV.
6'2" and 2/3.
People
Let's
still
set
I've
that
actually seen
off
them driving
from
on the
this
streets of LA,
control
just
line
driving
right here.
around. There's not a ton of them in existence, but like they
D,
don't degrade very much when they're in a really good climate, so they're still out
C.
there running around.
Not too many parts to break down, you know?
Yeah, and
Scales.
if you're driving like 70 miles a day or less, they're perfectly fine. They charge overnight. You've got a usable car. Anyway,
6 foot
Chevron sues them to stop building these.
2.
Yeah, they do the Stonecutters thing, try to kill the electric car.
Yeah, so there's a documentary about this. It's called like Who Killed the Electric Car. it's a little like it's partially that
Nay.
makers didn't want to build it. California kind of gave up on this at the same time. I will say it's worth noting that nobody ever figured out a way to build nickel metal hydride battery cars.
Are we on the right?
So no one ever did. Toyota still used nickel metal hydride batteries in hybrids, which weren't covered by the patent until 2022. So the Prius used those without problem for basically its entire recent generation. So
9'9"
usable,
and a third.
But no one could figure out how to do it without getting sued.
Yeah,
Right here.
one patent to it, which is owned by
To
another.
start.
Cool.
Chevron did renew the patent twice until 2019. So they did actually find it worthwhile to pay the fees to keep the patent live until 2019, and then they let it lapse because at that point, lithium is so yeah, I mean, did they do anything untoward? Legally, I can't say. However, Chevron earned $21.3 billion last year.
It's just a series of interesting coincidences
Exactly.
on a warming planet.
Oh, fuck.
An oil company and we just happen to own the battery patent. But rest assured, we put
That makes much more sense. I'm so glad I didn't strike that off.
Their CEOs even sometimes fly us to work.
You should fly a Boeing.
Measure twice, cut once, right?
Most of the Boeings in the
On
air
the
right now
3/8
is still
brick scale. Here are the small numbers.
So that's kind of, that's
10 foot is 9 foot from the sill, 9 foot,
Slide, please.
The element that wants
9
Oh, the IMAV, right?
and a
This
third.
is the first mass
Falling
market
right there.
battery car.
So happy to see you. I want to pet it, you know?
It is a little guy.
It's a little guy full of the chemical that wants to kill you and also helps stabilize your mood disorder.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually
Final answer?
It already
Cut.
there's like a different version in Japan. It's like
We are
it was like, oh, we got this
reading
thing. Cool.
D.
So it's adorable. These had,
First floor ceiling platform.
but they were a mass market lithium-ion battery car. This was like
5 bricks down, 1 foot 1 and a third is the top of our sill.
in somebody's garage.
Yeah, and people
One
like them because lithium batteries
third one
charge
right
fast,
here.
discharge fast, and
Cut it on bond.
Yeah, so these are good lithium-ion batteries, like the
Window.
those we've got on the market, are roughly 4 to 5 times more powerful
Window.
than nickel hydride. So you can fit a lot more power
Done.
per kilogram into these. And they're easier to put together. in
Same
multiple
distance
setups.
down from there
More
is the
efficiency when
lip
you're charging, so
of
faster
the
charging
eave
speeds.
porch. We're gonna
Less
avoid
resistance.
that and focus
it's
on
less
the
dangerous than
sill.
the other thing that people were looking at with hydrogen. Do not.
That is 5 bricks up
Do this.
from the bottom.
hydrogen has a lot more problems.
1
than
foot
just
1 and a third,
They
same
will still sell
as
you
our
a new
other
hydrogen
breakdown.
car too.
No shit. But yeah,
Right there.
Buy a Mirai.
what you don't want to do is you don't want to overcharge, puncture, or set on fire your lithium battery. Because if you do those things, then you have fire, which is very difficult to possible.
Okay,
Yeah, so speaking of which, next slide please.
let's center these off
These things killed a billionaire recently.
on
Well, it had the sort of like it had the inverse.
our building line.
The door would not fall off.
Mr. Barr.
The doors on Teslas are notoriously difficult to open if there's some kind of power failure. In fact, there's somewhere you cannot open the doors if there is a power failure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
I
of the
think-
guidance says you got like out some panels and like fucking pull some wires by yourself, and then some of them was just like, well, die.
Yeah.
I
I think hers is a Model X, but you can pull off the speaker grill and reach for an unmarked cable. One of them is like that in case of power failure, but also like it was like midnight in a fog in Texas.
Because
So
like
yes.
this fog water, just like
Yeah, did you ever watch the Mythbusters episode where they submerge a car with Adam Savage inside of it?
yeah, he died.
Totally.
during that.
It's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit.
it's like up there with that, and they buried Adam Savage alive in a coffin.
I think I would rather be buried alive than
What the fuck did Adam Savage do to get, like, fucking Sears School happening to him on TV?
He
I'm
volunteered
gonna
for
be
it.
friends with Jamie, yeah. Not even friends, just co-workers. You achieve a grudging respect from Jamie Hyneman, he's gonna try and bury you alive.
So just keep it fresh, you know.
Yeah, that seems terrifying. So yeah, can you imagine doing that in a car whose door handles don't work if the power goes out?
I don't want
Practically, you have to be zen for like 2 minutes until the car hits the bottom and the water pressure equalizes inside the cabin, and then the door doesn't open anyway. Like,
then after that you have to like go on your phone, brackets underwater, find which like speaker grill to pull off, and which unmarked.
Okay, now we gotta get the
the
centering.
whole reason it happened, for what it's worth,
on
is because
here.
these things are driven by a touchscreen. And so
We
she
are
shifted into
7
a
bricks
drive instead of reverse and drove into the pond.
to
because she tapped the
the
wrong thing on the screen that dictates which direction the car
rough
goes.
opening.
I'm not good at gear changes with a stick yet, but I would rather wrestle with that than fuck up
Oh,
an iPad.
there we
and
were.
a log.
This is
the most cracked.
set foot in a Tesla. I never have and I never will.
I
Horizontal,
have a Model X once.
regular,
I don't know.
I've
7,
Ubers before, and I've been like, I
4'9".
I'm always terrified I'll be drunk and someone will like call an Uber for me and it'll show up and it'll be a
Uber.
Tesla. And I'll be like, I'm being belligerent, but for a different reason than you think.
4'9.5".
Yeah. So this is already a good intro to Tesla. So the other thing too about remember how you said that you can't function those batteries because they'll kill you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real bad.
The original, so the
5 foot.
The first car that Tesla built was the Roadster in 2000.
5 3/4.
Basically a nice Lotus-based kit car. It was like fairly high performance. It was fairly expensive. It was a toy for rich people, and it sold pretty well as a toy for rich people.
4.
That was before Elon Musk was involved with the company,
Yeah,
right?
he was involved at that point.
That's a 2.8 for sure. 2'8 3/4.
He's successfully called a co-founder. Yeah, he did sue. Is considered one of them. Yeah.
That's our whole stack
So yeah. So
for the
he-
facade,
They built the Roadster. They turned that funding into the S, which is the car you see here. It is a luxury sedan.
right?
The thing is, like, NHTSA ended up investigating these because they didn't really have enough battery shielding on them, which they had later had to fix.
Yeah.
As of the most recent count, and it is very difficult to find exact counts, somewhere between 40 and 60 people appear to have died in fires related to Teslas. If you're curious, this is over, roughly the same number of Ford Pintos sold, which killed 27
All right.
people.
Just for honesty, I'm gonna take another shot because I erased a whole bunch.
I guess.
We're doing drunk cabs.
The car is cool. The status symbol for rich people. Like, that is-
Every time you have to erase, you take a shot.
Don't take me in the back seat with them when I'm drunk and getting an Uber. Like,
The deeply.
All right, let's break it down, homies. 4'9.5".
Panasonic built a lot of them. Their newest ones are like 300 watt hours a kilogram, which is absolutely
Let's do it down
insane.
here on the.
They don't
give
release,
ourselves
like,
a
their
control
exact
line.
spending, but it appears that they spend about 20% less on them than most other car companies. They just figured out like the infinite money levels. They're really good. It's just that the rest of the car around it is generally low quality.
Okay.
overseen by racists.
Little numbers, 4'9.5".
Probably.
That should be our
We're already demonetized. He's loud.
rough opening.
Take a Boeing
Line,
flight
top
to
to
see
bottom.
Canadian healthcare. What do you want me to tell you?
Oh my god.
Jesus. I work for an automotive
Canadian
outlet. Please,
Healthcare suggests you take another Boeing flight.
if my boss listens to this, I'm not saying any of this.
Our
I hope. that
RO
my boss listens to
is
this.
2'8 3/4.
Yeah. So it's. That's,
Let's keep our practice up and mark this off.
The Nissan Leaf was the best-selling EV up until about 2018 or 2010. Like the Model 3 came out and just obliterated every electric car sales record in history. It's worth noting. Next slide, please. Tesla took a very long time to.
I see a note here.
2'8.
Yeah, the thing is, I've only had one gin and tonic, so I can't quit my career yet.
Mhm.
You're a coward.
Oh my god. No, I worked
Cut
for
it.
this career. I like
Cut it. Cut it.
And so they took them a long time.
It's looking like a house. Oh my gosh.
Cars.
How'd we do
Their
it?
valuation has always been insane.
Our next module is 5'5" and 3/4.
A lot of them they did well in the early survival stages.
5.
It was very intelligent use of
5
resources.
and 3.
Like that shouldn't get me sued and should allow me to do a job.
Lots of subsidies.
Yeah. So, for example, this diagram here is of a hypothetical Model S battery swap.
Okay.
There was
Yeah,
this,
they've been trying this for a bunch of different manufacturers.
Well, yeah.
Let's hit
You
it.
don't have to waste time charging. You just
That
take one
doesn't
back
match
and
the
go.
crossing section, but
As a
let's
system-
let's
as a
strike it
system, this makes a lot of
lightly.
sense to me. This seems like the way you should do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and Tesla was going to build these. I think they built one of a car wash.
Could that be-
It was supposed to be like a battery quick swap station where they would basically they'd take your old battery,
That's
they'd give you a new fully charged one for the price of like a full tank of premium gas. Basically.
that's a full
And
party
then,
wall
take
thickness.
away
That's a
the
brick
chips,
and a half.
Original battery pack back later. This is
Oh.
a pilot program. And
Oh,
they, like,
oh,
were
oh,
fucking
oh,
do this.
oh.
I mean, there's
I stand
very little
corrected.
evidence that any owners actually wanted it, and there's even less evidence that they really tried to publicize it. It basically it was Harris Ranch. That's what it was at. It was just a demo station. It was open
Is it
for
stilted?
a little over a year. The thing that happens to be the case with this is CARB had recently announced that you would get almost double the.
So what we're gonna do here is draw the party wall
If you
in.
had an EV that could go to a full
For
state
this
of charge
hallway.
in some absurdly low amount of time, like 20 minutes or something.
Driving innovation now.
Yeah, which the superchargers could not do at this point. But the battery swap-
Which would then give us
All they
the
had to do was
true
demonstrate that they had the
centering
ability
of
to
this
do this, and
room.
then all of a sudden they
Let's see
basically
where we
making,
are. I bet this window's off. Oh yeah, look
which
at that.
happens is very lucrative. They made $1.8 billion in carbon credit sales last year.
Right there.
They have so far made $9
Dumbass.
million off of that. And what they do is basically it's just how the EPA decided. It's basically like
So we need to shift this whole dumbass window.
Indulgence.
Thank
what's
you.
that?
Yes.
Of the cross.
Thank you. It's basically like
I almost said child abuse.
4 inches that way.
Yeah, we've already,
A half
we've already
brick.
discussed that.
Boy,
yeah,
bae.
so basically,
I'll die
they-
before I
they
get
take-
this one done.
They take these carbon credits
Huh?
they get for selling zero emission vehicles, and they sell them on the open
Break
market
out the
at whatever value.
ice
it
bucket
offsets
here.
For companies that don't make enough, so like Stellantis, Dodge specifically, it's like has been largely allergic to EVs its whole life because what they have to do is build like Dodge Challengers for
They have to build the
New
chunk.
Colorado.
You have to build a
I
ram
know.
with like huge stacks.
No, Ram got spun off, man.
Oh,
Fine now.
really?
the Ram is still Stellantis though.
Right, yeah. I just have to
They have to build the chud vehicle,
Yeah.
and the chud vehicle does not get carbon tax.
Yeah, but have you considered that I want a Durango Hellcat?
It's legal to enjoy chud things. I want to take that position.
Shout out
I
Hooning.
want a Durango Hellcat.
I mean, while we're asking for cameras, I want a Fujika GW690.
Ooh.
Please and thank you. The Texas Leica, because it's big.
I think I like that.
They call it, seriously.
Okay, that deserves a
That
shot
range
for
finder
sure.
just looks like a Leica, but it's just like
God.
60%.
Fuck me.
They're gorgeous. I have, because I have insane friends, I have like 7
Toddling.
Kodaks worth of fridge stored, like 90s Kodak film, like very
New
color
center.
free.
Oh, look at that
Sitting
right
as
in
a
the
fridge
middle of the
just
grid.
falling
Love
into
it.
Put with an actually
God,
nice
Marion.
camera.
Commit.
Later. We can do that later.
Yeah, we'll solve this.
Okay.
Alright,
Jesus.
new,
Anywho,
I'm doing some Caucasian
Yeah.
style bride kidnapping.
we're supposed to
let's
do
melt
that.
the
Will
compost.
I get this Gen 1 Viper or am I not going to get it? Because I need to know.
I ask the patrons.
Yeah,
They're
yes,
actually not that expensive. You can get one for like 30 grand.
I know what I can do, Victoria.
You can just
The problem is I'm married to my sweet and wonderful wife, who doesn't want me to
Keeps track of
I'll
your
do
increments of 30 grand, and therefore It's
Well,
gonna
also-
notice if 30 grand is missing. First
Yeah.
of all, you have 30 grand. Second of all, it is now missing from your account.
Presumably-
Suddenly a Gen 1 Viper has a kid.
Yeah, and also outside, you making the loudest noise heard by anyone.
Presumably, she also loves Liam and doesn't want him to buy a $30,000 euthanasia pod with side pipes.
Give me the pod. Give me the euthanasia pod.
You
I am American and I have the right to kill in a Gen 1 Viper.
Yeah, you have bought 4 wheels and a Canadian palliative care doctor clinging to each one.
If you
Love
want to
it.
do that, you may as well buy a motorcycle, you know?
Not allowed to buy one of those, so Gen 1 Viper.
Okay,
is.
let's correct this over here.
What? Why aren't you allowed to buy a motor? Is this like a Corinne thing, or is this like...
This is a Corinne thing.
Okay, I thought it might be like you have like a felony or something.
No, oh, yeah, don't worry about that.
Do you
But
think
that's
they
not the
stop you
point.
from getting a motorcycle in America if you have a felony? They give you one.
On your way out of jail, they just give you a motorcycle
It's a condition of your parole, yeah.
and a bag of hot chips.
What if you have like, what if you're trying to fight?
Engineering
a
license.
biker gang, but you have like a middling, like felony, like littering or something, you know?
Just getting the like 1% patch sewn on your like leather vest for
Someone's
like
selling-
embezzlement.
Yeah, an 1100 horsepower Dodge Viper. Oh.
How much?
Hey, Liam, I like
Yeah.
you. Don't do that. Even if you had the money. Just like, don't. You know what's fun about those cars? You know what's fun about those cars? There is only like one company that makes the rear tires for it because they're like this weird fuck off size for those tri-spoke wheels. And they're like $2,000 a pair. So what happens is no one ever replaces the tires.
And then, yeah.
No one ever replaces the tires. They get dry rotted and old because they're putting so few miles and they're like pride and joy. And then they stab the gas once and they drive themselves into a palm tree and ignite.
Don't worry,
Five.
I won't do that. Patrons, please, I need this gentleman Viper. It's like a shit too, I think. Who gives a shit?
Alright, hang on, I'm clicking this link really fast. Sorry to get off topic. This is about as opposite of an EV. Oh my.
In
fucking
3,
God.
look at that.
Oh,
Gentlemen, we have a thesis.
Oh, I know a guy in Houston who has a like track prepped 99 Viper just like this. It's got white stripes on it, and it is.
I know a guy in
one of the hottest things
Houston.
I have ever sat in. Just like cars don't really attract
Jesus.
women. But this car would attract this woman. I will tell you that.
The closer you get to a kind of Hot Wheels car, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, I'm easily swayed by things that look like palaces. So.
Oh, behave.
You should actually get that thing. I endorse
Thank
it.
you.
Car
The
lady.
official auto journalist opinion is buy that Viper.
Not right
Anyway.
now, we have a podcast to record, please.
Anyway,
You typing. If you're putting money into like fucking escrow or something,
Work about yourself.
he's selling a bunch of Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Honey,
We have symmetry achieved.
For GTS.
Love to see
The
it.
sentence that has probably been actually said.
Oh, I'm certain.
Okay, so this should
One
be
day,
our.
The person who said it died.
This is one near me. This is in
85K
Bremar.
is too much for a first
I
ship.
know,
This should
I
be
know,
our
but
courses.
this is-
1,000 miles. You're gonna have to
I beg
replace
of you,
every
I beg
seal.
of you.
Oh, I'm
Please.
sorry. I'm
This
getting.
could and probably
Ah.
should be a stream at some point.
Give
I'm
me
so
the
sorry.
line.
I'm so sorry. I was shown it on
Right there?
I'm very.
Sorry. Yes,
very
yes, go on.
straightforward.
Middle of
Stimulus
that. There we go.
reaction.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm
it's
Fred
Justin.
Willard. This is
So
Jackass.
this is a commercial for the podcast that you're already listening to. People are annoyed by these, so let me get to the point. We have this thing called Patreon, right? The deal is you give us $2 a month, and we give you an extra episode once a month. Sometimes it's
I don't
a little
believe it.
inconsistent, but you know it's $2. You get what you pay for. It also gets you our full.
Look at
back
those little bitty
catalog of
windows
bonus
upstairs. Why'd they make them so
Exciting
small?
Topics like guns, pickup trucks, or pickup trucks with guns on them. The money we raise through Patreon goes to making sure that the only ad you get on this podcast is this one. Anyway, that's something to consider if you have $2 to spare each month. Join at patreon.com/WTYP pod. Do it if you want. Or don't. It's your decision, and we respect that.
Aw.
Back to the show.
Anyway, Tesla, the
Those look
complete
great.
opposite of a Dodge Viper.
In that it sucks.
They
It will still kill you.
Yeah.
No one show up.
the whole thing.
Just sick
Not in a
up.
fun way.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's
In an embarrassing
rounder.
way. Put it on your tombstone, like, oh, I did a burnout and my car exploded and, a bunch of school children sat in and started cheering versus I walked into a pond.
Yeah. The Virgin Pond billionaire versus the Chad Hoon.
Yeah, so, I mean, the biggest thing about Tesla is to understand is that, like, the whole reason, and I think this is, like, people need to just realize this is, like, the cars themselves do have some redeeming qualities. The big problem is that, like, so much of the hype around Tesla is what makes them insane. Like, I think it was Goldman Sachs or something valued full self-driving, which is a technology that does not exist. It is a beta and should not be on public roads.
Ah.
It's just not real.
It's like worth $75 billion.
Mhm.
It's like, well, yeah, I mean, sure.
Oh, I have it set on my
But the car
compass.
itself drove, and it could be an
Boom.
automatic
Yeah,
taxi
that's
cab, and it could rent itself out to people.
Okay.
I'm sure it would be worth a lot of
So
money.
we want to hit
But, like,
these in.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And self-driving
Yeah,
cars
we don't
are
need
the
those.
whole problem, and the fact that
Those are
things
set.
like EVs
Let's tack them.
because what we're doing is we're setting up a similar set of problems that we had 100 years ago. Next slide, please. I am assuming you're familiar with Big Bill Hells.
Shove it up your ugly ass.
No.
That's right, shove it up your ugly ass.
For your trade, for your wife.
Will fucker. That's right, fuck your wife.
It's a family show, guys. Come on.
Foundational to my sense of humor. The problem, the one thing that Tesla didn't get right is that they
About
don't
what?
have skills. Because the thing is that it turns out that, like, car dealerships do not want
sucks.
to, car dealerships don't want to sell you EVs, like, at all.
But the
They
thing
have
is,
zero interest.
car dealers are the scum on the bog in which all of us are like watching a billionaire pile of their
Cook.
Yes. Car dealers are the base of the Republican Party. Car dealers are America's petty bourgeois.
Yep. Listen to Trash Sheet Show about that with Pat Wyman.
Car dealers are like, a lot of these people are multi-millionaires, like small multi-millionaires.
Sir, is this erasing
Millionaires,
as utility?
They basically control, like, the whole town.
It's not a
They
mistake.
own three
Every
dealerships.
person-
Every
Every person who owns a car dealership was at January 6th and is Hitler.
single car dealer is Hitler.
If they had just done like a sort of drone strike double tap on the Capitol to like, if Nancy Pelosi had like called in an airstrike on her own position, you would not be able to buy a car in America for like a week afterwards.
More than a week. I mean,
No one
you would have killed the car dealers and their children. You would have killed the tractor dealers too. And then you know what would happen?
No, not the tractor dealers.
Tractors on their own.
This is a classic win-win. You know, going back to
Those guys go hard at the strip club.
Capitol tunnels on January 6th to be like, Speaker Pelosi, you can change the course of history for the better.
Oh, the airstrike.
I'm calling it. They put the sill right there. You know he did. You know he registered the sill right there.
Today's the day we nuke
I ain't no
Washington,
fool.
D.C. for the good of the nation.
No, these architects get up
Just
to.
a little one, so we don't get like the places
All right,
where-
our
yeah.
door opening.
Washington D.C. looks like Fallout 3. The rest of the country's fine.
Listen, if you have lived in Washington D.C., you know that everyone.
7-Eleven, baby.
If the actual Capital District were vaporized one day, everyone would feel much better the following day.
It's just, at that point, Washington D.C. is just a nice...
I was on the big numbers. Hold up. Let me not fuck around. Nope, those are little numbers. Yep, 7-Eleven. 1, 2, 3, boom. Rough opening plus lintel or
No, I'm just thinking.
transom or whatever the hell y'all have.
Stalin?
I think so.
step
Doing a
one.
good job at it.
He'll get dropped
Man, those
down
windows
and
are
he'll
tall
announce in the Viper.
above the door. That's pretty typical though.
Viper in every
So you
driveway.
can vent the
One of those
room out.
strikes on the National Mall.
We don't know what's in
There's a
here.
Viper in every driveway. If
I
Biden
can't
wants
see
to
it.
Win. Fucking 2 steps
But
end the genocide.
The
Viper in every
dimensions
driveway.
check.
Oh, yeah, you got my fucking vote, man. Yeah, I'll fucking fundraise for you if I get to check my every driveway.
Well, they've got the Dodge just come up with the EV charger.
Yes, I saw.
It makes weird noises to simulate having a rumble and a V8. Because it's essentially a
Ew.
large toy car for men who are still 13 mentally.
Aww.
But it does kind of look cool, which is the thing that I really hate to admit about it. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, I really, really want to hate this, but it's got like a little front wing thing. Anyway, I digress.
One of the smartest things American cops ever did, one of the few smart things, was corner the market and Dodge Charger. To be like, this is the cop car now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
I'm
cool,
not gonna
looks
give it to
cool.
him.
Like,
Seattle Police drive Explorers that look like they were like ripped from a fascist video game. They have like genuinely the most fascist ass
they're like
cop livery design of all
yeah,
time.
the cop SUV moment there's been a real decline for me. Bring back the sedans. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
carry more stuff. Yeah, you need to carry more stuff. But like, the aesthetics, come on.
I like the,
I also live like oh sorry.
I like the Challenger better. I mean, that's objectively, it is the fascist car. I just think it looks better.
American cops drive Crown Victorias. Never should have stopped.
Yeah, Crown Vics are like, they were cool. I mean,
PTV,
Oh,
yeah.
Caprice.
Shout out to the Queen.
Delicious. I
Yeah, they
remember
brought those back in like 2013, right?
Yes,
yeah, no one bought them, but like my
They didn't
my-
sell them
cops
to
did.
civilians. Yeah, they didn't sell
Yeah.
to civilians in the States.
They were
All
rebadged
the
like
cops,
Commodores
yeah.
or something.
And then, but like the Ford you can buy now if you're a cop is like a Taurus, which or like
We have the
Explorer, and it's just
You can also get a cop Ford Mustang Mach E. If you would like your fascists to be environmentally friendly. New York has like a bajillion of them.
Listen, make me in charge of the cops when you're climate style, and I will beautify their aesthetic into something interesting.
Oh, we could have Italian cops everywhere.
That concerns me.
Also, don't worry about why all the cops have to be women and why they have to be like minimum.
They're all in leather.
This is normal.
Doing a little Italian futurism, are we?
Just a little bit.
Bringing the Carabinieri to America.
There ought to be a law.
It's just being a cop in like Seattle, and you have to wear like a dress cape and a sword.
Well, the thing is, I live like very close to the police station that got overrun during the protests in 2020. It was like I live near the Chaz.
All right. I think we've almost got a thesis here. Let's try this
So like I remember
big
the footage of the river. I moved here.
control line and see
There's, like,
how it
always
falls.
50 of these Explorers parked outside, and I never see a cop standing outside at all. They always are in their cars or driving into the garage. So like they are. I think they're literally
From the sill, not from the ground.
From us.
Social alienation is so sad.
We almost got it.
The problem is car dealerships are super fascist. They can't sell extended warranties. They can't sell catalytic converter etching. Although I have actually seen some very funny images of window stickers for like Ford F-150 Lightnings, which are fully electric and do not have catalytic converters, with like an option for $500 in the window for catalytic converter etching.
Oh my God. Okay, that's a shot. That's a solid fuck up right there.
I don't know.
Kind of like mining car park.
God damn it.
This is a big issue with electric cars when your entire business model is based on, both selling the car and then doing long-term maintenance on it. Is that the electric motor is so simple and so reliable that, you can't, do all of this maintenance which is associated from having an engine that has 4,000 explosions a minute in it,
We might lose the ability to sustain this kind of American do-nothing gentry and replace them with like, I don't know, podcasters or something.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah, but so the other problem also here is that they are not selling great.
Thanks for watching, Jeff.
All about the removal
I
of,
just
like,
saw your comment.
left-wing
You gotta check out
It's sick.
wife bad. I feel you.
We storm the car dealerships and see how they like
It is nice outside. I'm looking at it.
Then we are-
It's windy as shit here.
That's when we all storm Langley.
Peace and love.
So it's when we storm the Capitol after Trump wins, we go start the steal.
Alright, where were we? Oh, I need a corner right here.
Next to
That's
your ugly ass is
corner one,
GM's very important first
2,
Ultium platform. It's a new it's
3,
supposed to define the future of EVs. It's very
and
expensive.
4. Let's try this again
The fat ass.
for the Oscar.
Because it is
Corner.
because every meaningful metric
Corner.
is larger
Cut.
than
Gotcha.
so
Corner.
they were like, on
Corner.
paper, it's 3 inches wider.
Cut.
To the point where like these things are big enough that we're close to needing marker lights on them.
No!
They're over wide.
You gotta
This
throw
thing
an
is
oversized
enormous.
banner on every single car. You gotta have a pickup truck following you with lights on it.
That's the niche that Lightning is positioned for.
So you know, these were a very important launch. They have like an all new entertainment system.
From 1 to...
Several reviewers,
You know what?
including myself, have gotten these and had the entire car crash. Not in terms of visual.
Y'all can
overall,
eat
but
my
overall
fucking
software
ass.
wise. The first reviewer
Right now.
was on the first drive to test it for my job. The entire operating system crashed and got stuck in a boot loop. They had to give me a different SUV. This happened to Edmonds and also one of my coworkers.
This whole place looks like a
While
bitch
he was
right
on a road
now.
trip, notably, he was like stuck in rural Virginia without a car because it just died on him when it was trying to charge. So this is not helping sales. This is not. They're kind of. It's not just Tesla.
Third time.
Eating pains, so to speak. This is kind of. There's a lot of pretty big products that are happening to right now. And people are
Okay.
also tired of paying. They've sold everything that they
Mop.
can for about $60,000 to spend on SUVs. So right now, at the end of
Set the
2023,
spike.
it was like 114
Right
days
here.
supply of EVs
Here.
across the industry, which is a ton.
Here.
That is months
Here.
of supply.
We're gonna start
sitting on dealership parking lots, taking up
at
space,
10 o'clock.
earning
Cut.
commission. You know, it's catastrophic.
We'll take it.
As far
We'll
as
take it.
actually making these a feasible strategy. And next slide, please.
Cut.
This is
No.
this is the engineering disaster.
Cut.
that is happening. Which I know this is a new.
And yeah, if we correct this,
And we're about to radicalize everybody into like Antifa Gen 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So the graph
We're there.
that I have, which shows that around
you did it.
$8,000
Oh my gosh.
and is kind of leveled
After
out
the
around,
third try, you
uh,
managed to
priced
get a
in
center line.
$3 per kilowatt hour for lithium-ion batteries. The thing is batteries
There we go.
break below this magical.
Oh, look at it.
Per kilowatt hour. They
It's
have
pretty.
steadily leveling off, and barring like some.
That's why they have that big gable up here, because you couldn't fit a man door
This is not getting cheaper.
in this section.
One fucking,
without that gable dormer.
girl who
Here's
claims
our-
to have invented,
wait,
like, room temperature
5 bricks
heating
above
apparatus on this one.
is
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Russia. Speaking of which, do you know what they have a lot of there?
right here.
Yes. That you need to build
That's our
vehicles.
platform.
I will speak on that a bit later.
And then our man door above that, 6,
But yeah,
7,
like all of the materials
11.
that are required to
And
build
4,
batteries.
0.
Yeah.
We did it. We landed on the ceiling.
Oh, extremely.
Love it.
I literally was like, okay, we're at slide 16.
This is a thesis.
Talk about a limited number of
Let's
things.
see.
Things I know the best. There are serious environmental issues with EVs, and there is research that
We
shows
flash
that
up the Elon Musk we want,
Yeah.
whatever we want, please.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not just lithium, mind you, like all of these.
We're there.
Fucking
Look at that.
niobium and like coltan and shit.
Hold
Yeah. There's a huge amount of like,
Is that proof over here as well?
My coworkers wrote.
a deal.
Yeah, I remember reading that I was going to cite from.
Close. I'm slid just ever so slightly.
You know, these are.
Okay, what's
these are
going
the
on
scale we were hoping
over
for.
here?
We keep building these enormous EVs that are very expensive, such as the Hummer EV, which weighs 9,000 pounds.
It's going to collapse every parking garage.
The battery pack in the Hummer EV weighs more than my last car did. It is 2,800 pounds.
You're shitting my balls right now. Look at this.
So so we're building these massive things. So
This must have been.
going, and so like
was the electric Hummer built for anyone in the world other than Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Do we even
People
feel
who like
you
really
use one
admire
for
the Freight Corps. I'm not sure.
Mm.
So that.
I love these
So
idiots.
what we're
Oh
running,
my
the
gosh.
innovation that's been happening in the market. Is
Look at these
incredibly
primitives.
high. The pictures here of the Spark, which as far as I can tell, actually hasn't been built. Which is a pretty common theme with a lot of these like startup companies. But it was going to sell for $3.1 million and have 0 to 60 in like 1.6 seconds or something. I don't know. It's a number is really high. Car goes very fast. The car below it is the Lotus Evija. That's 2.3 million. It does exist. Some of my coworkers have driven it. It's apparently very
From
cool.
the center.
It goes very, very fast.
Again, it has
This
the
is-
like Hot Wheels effect, but
Yeah, this is the problem with.
I'm sure those wheels get pretty hot. I mean,
this is the problem with EVs as a individual consumption product, right? A lot of the EVs that were built up until very recently were loss leaders. They were required. That e-Golf that I showed the diagram of when we first started the presentation. Was
Man,
not
they're so
viable.
cool. They're so freaking cool.
Yeah, the
I can't take it
that
sometimes.
sold in California to meet emissions requirements. Like Sergio Marchionne, famously, who was president of Chrysler at the time.
Alright, let's
hated
put
them
that.
because he was like, we lose
Ah,
so much money on all
It
these
is.
things."
It's the center line. Oh my god. You idiot. Wow. Wow.
So we have, you look at the companies that have broken.
It's an ad try.
Or Polestar.
Look at
What they
ya.
do is they build
Door
really
sills.
expensive EVs. They
Everything.
build, Rivians are 70 or 80 grand.
You love to
Polestars
see
are-
it.
The cheapest one starts at 45 or something, which
I guess next we'll ink it in or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll write a thesis about it.
all of this breakthrough to like, if we just
Sell
do
some
these
art.
parts, it'll eventually come down in price.
Some
It's not.
dumbass shit.
And so what we have done is, with a lack of any infrastructure.
Let's center this door up
Requirement
here.
basically to own a home to be able to charge your EV, and the really high purchase price. What we've got is like a bunch of rich people playthings, and then like upper middle class guilt splashers. They're not actually solving any structural problems.
No!
Can't really solve structural problems by buying things.
fuck. That's what they're trying to do.
yes.
Yeah.
I know, I
The
tried
only thing that
November.
exists is,
Me
like,
too.
solid-state batteries, which Toyota's been working on.
Tried to consume my way.
30 years.
To God,
They say
it
they're
didn't
getting
work.
close. Who the hell knows? That would change things drastically.
No amount of
So,
lipstick or
thousands of
femboys.
EVs that weigh like a tenth as much. It changes all of your scale so drastically. They're supposed to fix all of these problems, use fewer resources. But that's not something we have. So what people need to do is like buy plug-in hybrids or whatever. But nobody wants to do that because they're not status symbols then. And Americans, of course, need like a big engine to feel like efficient people.
Big V8 because it's smooth. And even better.
Well, I mean,
Well.
to Ram's credit, they just swapped out the V8 and the Ram 3 inline 6. It gets the exact same mileage as the V8 did, but they did at least get rid of 2 cylinders.
It's a BMW now.
If I had ST45, I got a V24.
Look at that skinny little door. Oh.
Yeah, so I mean,
Which, yeah, that's, of course, that's why they have the gables.
Unfortunately,
Because otherwise you would never in for the thing.
I just listened.
It's right jammed up onto the ceiling line. Wow.
Wings falling off the plane.
I love these guys. They did it.
Yeah, exactly. And now all of a
Golden
sudden they
ones.
want shit. Tell me that like it's society or whatever.
Hold on, I got some engineering for you, but first I gotta use the restroom.
When you said but first it primes me to go to the drops, I'm like, do I have a like Justin goes to the restroom drop? Do I have one? I don't. I really don't think I do. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm So I'm doing driving lessons at the moment.
Oh, I still may need to register those tops. Okay, I think we're gonna end this.
Oh, hell yeah.
We've got our
Well,
scale.
if I pass,
Looks
if-
pretty
if
good.
not, then one day.
We'll find out more
Your name changed.
later on.